It's just a couple of minutes after 6, and so we should get started. This is the council meeting on Tuesday, December the 9th. I will go ahead and call the meeting to order, and I have asked Mr. Dan Richardson if he will lead us in our invocation, and I've asked Council Member Roger Williams if he will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'd ask you all now to please stand. Thank you, gentlemen. Ms. Walker, would you please call the roll?
Honorable Mayor Fowler.
Here.
Honorable Councilman Bilbrey.
Here.
Honorable Councilman Williams.
Here.
Honorable Councilwoman Hawkins.
Here.
Honorable Vice Mayor Hill.
Present.
All right, the next item is to consider our agenda and minutes of the council meeting held on October the 21st. I don't think there's anything that needs to be added or subtracted from the agenda, and we have all had a chance, I'm hoping, to read the minutes of the October 21st. And then we will go ahead and consider approval of the minutes of the special called meeting on November the 6th. So I would entertain a motion now to consider approval of the agenda as it's been presented.
I make the motion. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now let's look at the minutes of October the 21st. If there are any additions, subtractions, corrections, please let me know. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting held on October 21st.
So motion. Yeah. Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And item number 3 is the minutes regarding the special called meeting that we had on November the 6th. It was, as special called meetings are, pretty short and to the point. So unless there's any additions, deletions, corrections, please let me know.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Under old business, we have several, to the Board of Zone 5 and 6 on the agendas 28. And I will let, excuse me, my throat is, my voice is coming and going. So I'll let Mr. Morrison tell us who has applied for these positions and did we advertise them, or the people in them currently, do they want to stay? What is the status of that?
So we did advertise these as requested. The 3 existing members are Pat Judd, Shauna Whitefield, and Bill Benson. 2 of those members are present tonight. All 3 expressed interest in continuing to serve. 2 additional individuals in town reached out and expressed their intent to apply for one of those positions. They are Joellen Farley and John Roberts. So the 5 people who are interested are Pat Judd, Joellen Farley, Shauna Whitefield, John Roberts, and Bill Benson. And there are 3 openings to expire in 2028.
I'm sorry, I got 4. Who was there was Pat Judd, Bill Benson, Shauna Whitefield, Joellen Farley, and
John Roberts.
John Roberts. Thank you. Well, I make the motion that we go ahead and, since she is willing to serve, to appoint Miss Pat Judd to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a term that expires in 2028. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, number 5 is to consider approval of these other candidates to fill the term expiring in 2028. Does anyone have a suggestion about number 5? All right. Mr. Williams. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have 2 members now appointed, and we have a third one to consider. Ms. Shauna Whitefield is currently serving and has expressed that she wants to continue. We have Ms. Joellen Farley, and we have Mr. John Roberts. Out of those 3, do you have a suggestion as to the next position to fill?
A suggestion, more of just a. I love the fact that there's more than that. You know, there's 2 newcomers of people I don't know, Joellen Farley and John Roberts. I think it's always a value add when more people get involved in the in the process and with the administration of our city. I don't know these folks, so I'm going to kind of take my lead from you all. But I do like the fact that we've got 2 newcomers, and I just wanted to make that comment. I think the more people involved, the better.
Mr. Roberts, the gentleman who was, he's involved in a construction business, or?
That's correct. He owns Mac Construction and resides in Deer Haven.
Okay, and I know Miss Farley, she lives on 2nd Avenue.
2nd Avenue. Mm-hmm. John Roberts.
Sorry. He was here. There was some discussion at some time about he's doing that thing out there off of 111 in Mirandi, and he is involved with that company or owns that company.
I
And
think it was Mac Construction, wasn't the name of it? That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Right next to it. Yeah.
Ms. Ruby, was that a motion for John Roberts? Ms. Ruby made the motion for John Roberts, and Mr. Williams seconded.
thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Under new business, we have several things to consider tonight. There are ordinances and resolutions, and they are listed here on the screen for everyone to see, the numbering anyway. And it's typical that we approve suspending the reading of all those at this time because we're going to be reading them and discussing them all each individually. So I'm going to make a motion that we suspend the reading resolutions and ordinances. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, item number 8 is to consider approving an award for the Main Street Waterline Project to some company in some amount. And we have received a statement that's been compiled about the bidding process, who picked up papers, who turned in a bid, who didn't turn in a bid, who didn't follow through or follow the directions located in the bid package. So I will let Mr. Morrison speak to that if he would like.
So there were a total of 5 bids submitted. 4 companies were no bid. 2 of the 5 companies that submitted paperwork acknowledged an addendum to change the bid form, but did not use the bid form. So they have failed to meet the bidding requirements and will be rejected. And those 2 contractors are Greer Excavating and Austin Construction. So both of those contractors are rejected for failure to follow the bid form after acknowledgement. That leaves John T. Hall Construction as the low bidder once those are rejected. John T. Hall is bid at $1,557,000. John T. Hall Construction has completed a sewer project for us already on the Old Walton Road construction, and he is currently working on sewer rehab projects for us, so he is an existing contractor that we have worked with and currently work with, not to mention the extensive amount of work he has done for the city of Cookeville, both in water line and sewer. So his company is highly capable of doing that, and it is our engineer's recommendation that we award the contract to John T. Hall Construction Incorporated. I can go over the project if you want me to. This is replacement of water line down Main Street, so this will replace an existing 1960s water line that was a 4-inch line with 12-inch line. It will go from here in front of City Hall down to the Farmers Market, turn and go down Main Street in front of all of our Main Street businesses. Beside the tennis court, it will go down First Avenue and connect to the 12-inch line coming in from Shenandoah, and then it will proceed out to Durant Street, where it will tie in to an 8-inch that feeds from the 10-inch that comes around 111. It will also abandon an old, is that a 4-inch that goes down Main Street? At Barkey Beaver, we're going to abandon that and pull all those houses back to the new service line, which is about 5 of them. And that will improve all of the water flow. It will add hydrants downtown and additional shutoffs, and it will allow us to backfeed the water system from 3 different directions once we complete this. This is the best way to go.
I think this would not only benefit our customers on that line, but it would also be a benefit to the fire department as well, wouldn't
That's
it?
correct.
I see the
So-
chief nodding over there, so I'm like, okay, I think that's right.
So this will affect our ISO. One of our ISO point deductions that hurts us is Progressive Die and Stamping is considered an industrial area of town because you have Progressive Die, you've got Industry Mart, you got several large manufacturing facilities there that don't have adequate water flow at those locations given the existing line condition. So this will fix that and help us additionally get additional ISO points, lowering our insurance rating, giving residents, mostly commercial customers, a better insurance rate on their fire protection. The other thing is we have customers on Main Street who are having water quality issues. There's not even enough in the line left to be able to flush it. It just creates more problems, so this will fix all of that.
How long of a project are we looking at? Guesstimate.
I'd say about a year.
Oofta.
Maybe quicker, depends. They already got construction equipment here, so he may move faster.
Sure.
A lot of it's going to depend on ordering parts in line and things like that. Yeah, we'll work through there as fast as we can and limit interference with those as best we can. So we'll work on those sections to where we still allow them to have parking and try to work with them to minimally interfere with the business as best we can. Day. We had originally planned this for the day, so if we need to do some of those at night, we'll work with them to do some of that at night so it doesn't affect the businesses as bad. The majority of it won't be that bad, but once we hit those sections, that may be something we have to talk to them about, see if they can dig those up and lay them at night to avoid that.
What's the plan for payment? I don't remember this budgeted.
This wasn't budgeted. This will come
What's
out
the
of
plan?
This will come out of
Sorry.
capital projects. We've got the money in the bank to do it, so we've got about $4.5 million in there, so we'll be fine. So we're
But
gonna be
reducing
fine.
that.
Yeah, we'll reduce it, but with you're talking about an enterprise fund, so it doesn't matter if it's capital project in the ground or cash in the bank. The state looks at them the same.
Understood.
The problem is I've got to account for depreciation. So after the year's up, I got to put this on the books and start depreciating it. That's where I got to be careful. And right now, we've looked at the projections and we're still good.
Thank you. And there's no options for waiting. I mean, we talked about this at work session last night. It's a dumb question, but I feel like it's worth having the conversation. Waiting for this might be a question for how do we have a zero time to wait? Can we wait another year? Is it we are mission critical now? Full on. So the answer is it's time. It's time. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Agreed. It's time. Agreed. Wow. Wow.
Right there, right in the middle of town. Worst case scenario, we'd have to run 5-inch fire hose across thousands of feet just.
No good.
We'd have to shut down multiple avenues.
I'll second that.
That's awarding to John T. Hall, right?
Yes, sir. And do we need to do anything about the other two bidders? And
Just
they
acknowledge
just
that
didn't meet the qualifications for
when-
whatever reasons in your all's bid process, and they didn't meet the qualifications, so they didn't.
Yep. So they failed to meet the addendum requirements to use the
Addendum
new bid
requirements.
form and submit on the new bid form. So your motion includes rejecting those for failure to meet bid requirements and awarding John T. Hall.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill and Mr. Morrison. Do we have a second?
I
Roger,
was
I'm
second.
sorry.
Roger was first.
I'm sorry. I got them reversed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to item number 9. Consider approval of another bid for the Public Works roof repair. And I guess, Mr. Morrison, you'll need to speak to that.
So we have bid out this roof project several times. This final bid was a roof replacement instead of a repair. For that reason, Genesis Roofing will be rejected because they bid it as a roof repair with a TPO placement on top, which is what we had last time. They did not meet the bid requirements of replacing the metal roofing. M&G Roofing 1 LLC bid they are not with $1,839.10. Mr. Rader sent him a letter. He finally responded today by just forwarding it, I guess, to his boss, and I have not heard back from them. So they have not acknowledged if they intend to even move forward with this or what kind of quality work they would do. In the event you choose not to do them for fear of what the quality of work will be, then that would make Ross Services the low bidder at $49,886, and they do meet all of the requirements.
I would just say about this M&G Roofing 1 LLC, they came back to Mr. Morrison and they proposed a price that's about $5,000 higher than what they bid. And of course, you guys know with the way the bids work is they mail in the bids and they open them all at the same time. We don't let somebody then come back in and raise their prices and still be the low bidder, because that defeats the whole purpose of the bidding and the confidential bid. So under no circumstances do I recommend that you award them a bid at their $39,000 number that they want. Your bid documents say that their bid is binding, that they can't withdraw or change their price within 60 days after submitting it. And so I think that you can enforce, if you want to award them the bid at their $34,839.10 original price. And you could probably enforce that as a contract, but as Mr. Morrison says, when you have somebody that says, I'm not going to perform it at that original price, then that raises a legitimate question about the quality of the work that you're going to get and the quality of the contractor. So you really have the choice, you have two choices on the table. Number one, M&G Roofing 1 LLC, and try to force them to take their original bid price of $34,839.10. They may or may not do it. You may or may not have to sue them. Or you can go to the next lowest qualified bid, which I understand is Ross Services for $49,886. So it's a $15,000 difference, and it is significant. If you do want to pursue a damage claim against M&G Roofing 1, you have to award the bid to them, declare there's a contract, and then try to enforce it. You've stated all the problems, and now you've got them all on the record. Now you can decide what to do about it.
Mr. Williams, I'll be happy to second that motion.
I'll second it. Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's
Sorry. You
okay.
said that, and then I
That's
heard
okay.
it. And
I'll just let you vote then.
I
How about
apologize.
everybody
do
in
it.
favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now we took care of that one. Now we have item number 10, which is approval of the expansion of our urban growth boundary. And you all should have received a map in your package.
Let me
And I will let, with these colors.
open the floor for public hearing. We have to do 2 meetings under state requirement. One of those meetings was held last week during the Planning Commission and open public floor. During the Planning Commission, the map that you all have in your packet went to the Planning Commission. They asked that we added a couple additional regions, and I'm going to try to show you on here with the highlight. They asked that this section here, which is the Lane Road, Brotherton Drive, and Overlook Circle, be added to the green. It was not on the original. They also asked that down Buck Mountain Road that we grab the first parcel touching Buck Mountain Road. All of those areas have existing water service through the city of Allgood. The other two green areas remain unchanged. Those are areas that we have existing water service. So that's the only addition, is along Buck Mountain Road. We added this south parcel that touched the road that has water service, and they wanted to add the Overlook Circle, Brotherton Drive, and the Lane Road area where we had water service to get that big subdivision there. So those were added into the green for urban growth boundary. So the green is what we are recommending you expand the urban growth boundary to. The red is the existing urban growth boundary, and then inside the white, of course, is city limits. By no means are we saying that anything in the green is going to be annexed. It just adds it for future possibility to be annexed. If it is not in the UGB, you cannot annex it, and so we're kind of just marking territory that we think would be possible to grow into. All of the cities are doing this. We update this every so many years. We did it 10, 11, 12 years ago. Right as I come in, they were already in the process of expanding it a little bit, and they didn't go as far. So we are expanding ours. Cookeville is expanding theirs. Baxter and Monterey are expanding theirs, and all of these will go to the committee for approval. And one of the resolutions is to approve the committee that will approve those. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that is what you are seeing on this map. Now, part of the state requirement is also that we send them a cost estimate for what it would cost for services in those green areas. Water is already existing. We have to send them some population census data for what that looks like. So there's several other things that we will have to meet. But for you all and the Planning Commission voting and approving this and having 2 public meetings were a part of the requirement. So that is what you're seeing here. If you have questions, I will answer those.
So it went through planning. Planning heard
Mm-hmm.
any general opposition to this. This seems like we're just, like you say, I'm marking territory. We're expanding the boundaries of future opportunity. Any opposition?
No. The only thing from Planning Commission is just adding the 2 areas that I indicated that we add additionally. So those are new green spaces on this map that weren't on it when planning seen it, and they weren't on it when you all first got it. Has approved it and made those changes, and this is final that we were hearing. So we'll open up the floor in just a minute and see if anyone wishes to speak, and then you all can vote on it.
Thank you.
Following with the, excuse me, along with that, if we go ahead and suspend our council meeting, move into the public hearing portion, is there anyone here that would like to be heard on the expansion of our urban growth boundary? Hearing none, we would close the public hearing portion. We will resume the council meeting, and what is before us is to consider approval of the expansion of our urban growth boundary as shown in the map that Mr. Morrison furnished, and that's on the screen. I'll make the motion that we approve that. Ms. Hawkins, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now, item number 11 is to consider approval of the placement of a 4-way stop at R.C. Buck Drive and Quinlan Lake Road. I'm having a hard time picturing where that is.
So this is behind the block plant. If you go around 4th Avenue, turn left on Quinlan Lake Road, go back towards the block plant. As you cross R.C. Buck, it is an existing stop there and an existing stop on the other side, and R.C. Buck is a through street. This is a request from Councilwoman Hawkins for the safety of citizens who've requested it. I went through and made sure on the MUTCD standard we couldn't just do this. It does require either a traffic study or an engineering judgment to place a four-way stop there to limit the liability on the city. Plus, we'll have to add additional signage, stops ahead, new, those types of things like we did out here at the three-way stop. So if you all wish to move forward with this is a vote to do a traffic study for a four-way stop at that intersection.
You know my favorite question. How much is the traffic study going to cost?
I don't know on that. Probably I'm going to estimate somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000.
Oh, okay. It's not as bad as I thought.
No, it shouldn't be that bad. If I'm wrong, I'll come back. It has to be less than 15,000, or you all have to approve it. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Williams made the motion. Ms. Hawkins second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 12 is to consider approval of Resolution 370-25, Purple Heart Community, just stating that the City of Allgood supports becoming a Public Heart City in recognition of our Legionnaires and community Purple Heart recipients, to honor our veterans. And I certainly could support that. It does require that it's a resolution, so it's not an ordinance, so it only requires this first reading. So I would go ahead and make the motion that we approve this resolution for Allgood to be a Purple Heart community. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Item number 13. Consider approval of Resolution 371-25 to appoint the Joint Economic Development Board as the County Growth Planning Coordinating Committee. And if you want to speak to that, it's a lot of people.
The state requires a growth planning coordinating committee to be voted on in each community. Putnam County, Baxter, and Monterey have already voted to recognize the Joint Economic Development Board as the County Growth Planning Coordinating Committee. The JECDB is what this is, and that has a representative from all communities on it, as well as other entities, the school boards, things of that nature. So we each have a seat on that, so everyone has a voice. So this is a joint board for Putnam County that will oversee this and approve these final growth plans before they go to the state. So this is the resolution making that happen, which is also a state requirement.
Yep. Yes. Not yeah.
Resolution. So
If they don't do it, Mr. Williams, the statute provides that there's another kind of committee that has to be formed, and it has to involve people from the Chamber of Commerce and the school board and different utility boards and things like that. It's a whole unwieldy animal, so all of the other bodies have decided to use this existing board, so you don't have to.
Okay, Mr. Williams made a motion that we approve this, and Ms. Hawkins second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 14. Consider approval of Resolution 372-25, request sponsor City of Allgood representatives an amendment to the Tennessee Code Annotated 6-51-104 to allow annexation by majority property owner consent. And that is a change.
yeah, this is a change. So this is Actually, with annexation law, it's gotten harder to annex. To annex, you have to go to referendum and get a vote. Several years ago, Representative Williams introduced legislation to allow that if the majority of the property owners are already coming to you and asking you to annex, that you don't have to go to a referendum. If they bring to you in writing, they're already willing to be there, there's no reason to do the referendum to confirm that. So we're just asking that that legislation that sunset a couple of years ago be reinstated and allow that to happen. If the majority of them are already wanting to do it, there's no reason to waste the money for a referendum to prove it if they're already willing to sign documents that they're wanting it already. So that's all this is asking for, and we're going to send these to our representatives at the state to show them that we support reinstatement of that legislation that sunset, and that's all this is asking for. They can if services are available and they meet the requirements, yes. And we have some where they can ask to be put in already, like if it's a single property owner and services are already there and they're already adjoining city limits, they can ask to be annexed and they can be annexed. The ones that would have to go to a referendum is where it's unclear and you can't get signatures and the majority aren't saying, you'd have to have a vote to approve it. So. You still have to be adjoining city property and city services available, plan of services developed, 10 years for sewer, all the others provided, so you have to meet plan of services. You can't just go out and donut hole or annex extremely far out or do weird things. You still have to meet the requirements.
It sounds like we're just doing what's currently on, and we're just extending what our current practice is, correct?
Yeah, we're asking for them to reinstate it. It actually sunsetted a few years ago.
I'll make the motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item number 15. Consider approval of resolution 373-25 requesting that the City of Allgood representatives to the Tennessee General Assembly sponsor, support, and ensure the restoration of the historic revenue sharing relationship between the state of Tennessee and its local government to return the local share of the single, and now we are asking them to give it back, which we can
lost it
ask.
several years ago. This is back in the early 2000s. The state increased local sales tax from 5% to 7%. Some of that went to BEP funding. Other went to state for where they were falling short on revenue. They did not share any of the increases in sales tax, so we're only sharing the first 4.6% of sales tax with the state, which they send back to us. So what we're asking the state to do is to restore that relationship. You're taxing more, share back with the cities so that we don't have to increase property taxes. For us, it's probably $75,000 to $100,000 a year additional funding. That would do a couple different things. We could put it towards other projects, different things. The state has, we've been asking for this for several years. The state has not given it. They said they were in shortfall and worried about losing revenue, and then they had the lawsuit they had to pay back where they had incorrectly collected tax. But the state financial is in good shape. They're exceeding all expected revenues. So we're just asking them to share that back with cities to make it easier for cities to function. The other thing they did is they increased the single article cap on sales tax and did not share that back with local governments. That would share back with local governments, municipalities, and counties and increase funding. So we're just asking if they share those things. They increased them to try to get out of a shortfall, and that shortfall has been long since taken care of, and they are making positive gains every year, and we're just asking to share that to make it easy on all the cities and municipalities in the state of Tennessee to function and serve our residents. It would.
Well, if the state would approve it, but at least we have to ask them to give it back. So this would give us the authority to ask our representatives to pursue that goal for all the cities. Ms. Hawkins has made a motion to approve that resolution. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 16. Consider approval of first reading of ordinance 727-25 to allow duplexes, two-family residential structures, as a conditional use in the R1 low-density residential district and as a permitted use in R2 medium-density residential district, and to establish supplementary regulations. And it says it was sponsored by the Planning Commission, so I assume then that means that they have recommended.
They have recommended this. They asked for, took some suggestions to them, got some language things cleaned up, and then in this last Planning Commission meeting, we presented them with this language to vote on and approve. So this sets that R1 is a conditional use, R2 is a permitted use. R1 would have to meet conditions of safety. Does it match the neighborhood? Is it in a good place? But the additional supplementary regulations that are in place to prevent this from just going anywhere, if you're going to set a duplex on any lot, it has to be 15,000 square feet. If it's not a minimum 15,000, it doesn't even qualify for a duplex. It has to have a minimum front setback of 35 feet. It must have at least 8 parking spaces and a maximum lot coverage of 40%. And that is regardless of where it goes. So as you all are aware, R1 currently exists at a 15,000 square foot lot minimum. R2 is a 10,000 square foot lot minimum. So in R2, that doesn't mean all R2 lots would qualify. They still have to meet the supplemental regulation of at least 15,000 square feet. That was done by Planning Commission to create a buffer so that they're not right up against an adjoining property. There's a little more space on the property and they've got a little more room. So those are the requirements. This has been approved by the Planning Commission and is here for first reading with you all. This will require 2 readings and a public hearing at second reading. So.
No,
You
since
don't
this
have
is
to.
the first one, we can go ahead. Right.
So I've got a few questions. Excuse me, frog. What's precipitating this? I see that it was considered by planning, but is there a request from are we getting some concerns from developers? Is this being pushed by what's precipitating this to say, hey, we need to look at our R1 and R2 and look at the possibility of changing this to allow duplexes?
Planning Commission requested it, so if they had outside source, I'm not sure. Their thinking was they felt like we had overreacted and pulled it out too fast out of too many places and maybe should have left it somewhere. So they wanted to go back to allowing duplexes because they felt like not allowing them at all was a little bit too stringent. The only place a duplex is allowed currently is in an R3 zone, and we don't have, might have one open lot that's R3. Everything else is already existing with something on it. And so they asked if we could look at that, and so based on their recommendation, this is what we came up with.
Okay. So we're going. So what you're saying is right now duplexes are allowed in R3, and now the request is to not only include it in R2 but R1 as well.
R1 would be a conditional use.
Okay.
So conditional means it would have to come back to the BZ. Is it bad for the A? Would have to consider, is it a good fit? Is it even possible in there?
But those distinctions that's they have to meet. What kind of discretion do they have to make this decision? I mean, it's. Go ahead.
They have very little discretion. So the Board of Zoning Appeals is a quasi judicial body, and they have to consider the factors that are set forth in the ordinance. Of course, the ordinance does address these things that Mr. Morrison's talking about, such as the character of the neighborhood and the safety and the traffic. But really, the BZA doesn't have broad discretion to consider those kinds of factors on this kind of use permitted on appeal or conditional use. What they have to consider is really whether or not it meets the requirements, the concrete requirements, the 15,000 square foot lot, the 40% lot coverage, the 8 parking spots that are in your ordinance, whatever the other one was, the setback.
35.
And it's not, they don't have the discretion to just say, I want it in this neighborhood or I don't want it in this neighborhood. Yeah, and so that's really that's not as strong a protection as most people think that it is. And it sounds like a good protection because it sounds like the BZA has to have that hearing and have that appeal, but their discretion is really very limited. They go beyond those concrete criteria, Chancery Court may have to reverse their decision. So that's limited.
So, excuse me, actually, this is just a request from the Planning Commission that we do this, that we make this less stringent than what we had. I mean, I get what you were saying. Right, we had kind of clamped down on what we had seen occurring, and now it sounds like they want to open that up a little bit more.
Well, there's two ways to open it up. You can have a zone that allows duplexes, the R3 duplex zone, RD, but you may not have on your map, you may not have very much property that is zoned for that. So you can, if somebody wants to come to you and do a duplex at, 123 Main Street, look at whether or not we want to rezone 123 Main Street for duplexes. So you can rezone property to allow duplexes even if there isn't very much right now that's available. Or alternatively, you can pass an ordinance, this ordinance or an ordinance like it, which is where you're allowing this use in other existing zones on your map. There are larger swaths of area in the community that are R2 and R1. This would allow duplexes in those zones without really having to come to anybody. And so the Planning Commission, it's my understanding, recommended this and voted on it unanimously, and I think they're asking the council to do it. So that's what your Planning Commission's for, to bring you ideas that they want to do, but that's why you guys are the final answer to change the ordinance. You have to do it if you don't want to, or you can send it back to the Planning Commission for further study. There's lots of things that you can do. Does that make sense?
Excuse me, is there a second? Yes, please. Let's just have a roll call. Ms. Walker?
Mayor Fowler,
No.
Honorable Bilbrey, Honorable Williams, Honorable Hawkins, Vice Mayor Hill.
No.
Okay, this will come up at our next meeting for a second reading and a public hearing. Now we go to Mr. Morrison. I feel like he's already given a report, but we're asking for another one.
We'll make this short, and I'll let department heads take over. So City Hall will be closed December 24th and 25th. Thursday, December 25th, trash route will run Friday, December the 26th. January 1st is a Thursday. Is that right? Losing my mind. That'll run Friday the day after as well. So both of those are Thursday routes. They will run Friday the day after for pickup. So if you're on Thursday route for the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's, you will be picked up on Friday instead of Thursday. Tuesday residential route will run normal schedule that week. Department heads, it's your turn.
So we had our Christmas tree lighting event this past Saturday and had a great turnout for that. So we appreciate everybody that came. Appreciate the staff that helped out and First National Bank for sponsoring that and doing the pictures with Santa for us. Our Christmas parade is scheduled for 6 p.m. this coming Friday night on the 12th. We've got about 4 times the applicants so far that we typically have, so it'll be the biggest parade that we'd had, and that's kind of in lockstep with what Baxter and Monterey have experienced as well. So I hope everybody comes out to that.
So real briefly, we have seen an increase in requests for smoke detectors. I'd just like to remind everybody that we have free smoke detectors at the fire department. You can just call and we'll set up a time to come install them at no cost. Had another busy month with about 47 calls ran. I'd like to recognize 2 of our firefighters, Brad Hughes and John Chia, for successfully completing the live burn portion of their basic firefighter, so they are well on their way to getting their Firefighter 1 certifications. Also, we have some cold weather coming up next week, and just kind of remind everybody, keep space heaters, and if you have any kind of questions on whether your smoke detectors are working or carbon monoxide detector, you can call us. We'll come out there and check them, no problem at all.
Like David, we've been busy as well. We've had 29 just general information reports, 2 frauds, 1 forgery, 12 assisting EMS, 15 assisting motorists, 4 assisting other agencies, 13 burglar alarms, technology, you gotta love it. Yeah, and one of these days it'll continue. There we go. Had 1 harassment report, 2 hit and runs, 24 separate investigations, 165 property checks, 8 motor vehicle accidents with no injuries, 153 traffic stops, 48 citations, 3 warrant services, 9 domestic disputes, 540 total calls. I've asked them to increase their patrols through the business areas and residential areas and be seen more. Get out there and say hello to people.
We like that community policing. All right. Director, no? We've taken up a majority of the hour, but we always have time to hear from our citizens. If there's anyone that wants to judge or say something that we need.
On zoning, but also, when are we gonna do water on the other end of Main Street? Water lines, how big are they?
Where at?
Main Street, on west side.
On the west side? Those
Yeah.
should be 8 or 10 inch, aren't they? Already existing.
It's pretty sorry too.
Okay.
The water out there, I do not know how many water heaters I've replaced in the last,
What addresses? If you'll give them to me when you leave, I'll go check them.
644.
644. Okay.
And the other ones are on Main Street, so you're gonna get those done.
Yep.
And on 103A and
Yeah,
B
well,
and
those
C,
will be
all of
replaced.
those.
Those will all be on new line, so
Yeah,
those will be taken
we've
care
had
of.
to replace every
So
water
we need to
heater in
check
there
on
in the last year.
644 and see what's going on.
Yeah. I'm East Main Street, but this is West Main.
West Main, where the antiques
Antique
shop.
store is.
Okay, we'll come check the pressure on it.
Yeah. I
We'll
mean,
get you checked.
even our house hasn't been bad, but we changed all the filtration things and done all of that good stuff. So we've got clear water now.
Okay.
But we didn't have
All right,
till we done all of that expensive stuff.
got you.
Yep. So thank you.
Anyone else? Anything else from the council? We would just like to say again, thank you to everyone who had a part in the Christmas tree lighting. I think it was very successful, and I've had nothing but positive comments about it. And the tree is beautiful, even if I'm partial. I think it's a beautiful tree, and we thank everyone for their hard work in doing that. And we're excited about the Christmas parade coming up. I think it's going to be rather chilly, so we want everybody to dress warm. And again, that starts at 6 o'clock Friday night. And does anybody have anything else on the council that they want to say? Last meeting of the year. Going. Okay. Our next meeting will be January the 13th of 2026. So I will make a motion that we adjourn, and all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? If anybody was, they could stay. Okay. Thank you. We're adjourned.